Thank you, Program Director. Allow me to plunge into my remarks. The President, Deputy President, and the former Deputy President, Cabinet Ministers, and other dignitaries already having been acknowledged. Today we gather here to mark the return of a son of a soil, a patriot to his roots, Matlako or Pela. The repatriation and reburial of the mortal remains of Moses Mawani Kotane from Russia to his place of birth completes a cycle begun on 9th August 1905, his date of birth. This cycle mirrors what gave rise to Kotane's journey, the sorry history of South Africa, whose policy of apartheid colonialism stirred in him a revulsion against countrymen's inhumanity to fellow countrymen. It is his innate sense of justice and duty to right a historic wrong, apartheid that is, which the United Nations was to condemn as a crime against humanity, that set Kotane on his political journey. On this day, Kotane's reinterment in his home village completes the cycle. This ceremony symbolizes victory over evil, as it speaks to the banishing of apartheid to the scrap heap of history and the subsequent evolution of a democratic South Africa. In committing his remains to this village, Kotane joins his parents, Sekhokhwane and Madira, including his 10 siblings, all of whom lie buried in this village. The nuclear family unit is no more. Its last surviving member, Maburiki, passed away in 2010 at the age of 90. It is here where it all began for Kotane, but hopefully not where it ends. I would like to believe that Moses Kotane's name will forever be etched in the collective memory of South Africa's liberation struggle, that he shall be mentioned in the same breath as that of titans of our struggle who selflessly dedicated their lives to the defeat of an inhuman system for the betterment of all in this country. Thus, as we celebrate 20 years of freedom, let us also spare a thought for the heroes and heroines of our gallant struggle, some of whom, like Malome, Uncle JB, and others, who never saw the dawn of a democratic dispensation in their beloved motherland. Let history narrate the story of a 17-year-old whose quest for self-fulfillment and search for a better life saw him leave Pela 95 years ago, and in the process gained political consciousness, which became the very essence of Kotane's being. Let the narrative further relate the story of a largely self-taught individual who rose to intellectual heights to forge strong ideological and political bonds between a then distrusting African National Congress and the Communist Party of South Africa. In this regard, the then chairperson of the South African Communist Party, the late Dr. Yusuf Dadoo, wrote this of Kotane, and I quote, "His life is a true example of the consistency between proletarian internationalism and healthy nationalism. He spent racialism in all its forms, whether expressed in white arrogance or black chauvinism. Never hiding his dedication to the cause of communism, he also became a respected leader of the African National Congress because of his great contribution to the work of that organization over many decades. His principled nationalism not only won him respect as an individual, but helped immeasurably to open the way for growing collaboration between the party he led and the National Liberation Movement." Likewise, the late Oliver Tambo, then president of the ANC, in his oration at the funeral of Kotane on 26 May 1978, stated, amongst others, "If Moses Kotane was Secretary General of the SACP, he was to no lesser degree a highly esteemed and completely devoted leader of the African National Congress. His rigorous self-discipline enabled him to survive the sophisticated vigilance of the South African fascist police for many years, during which he engaged in full-time underground political work in defiance of banning orders and numerous other restrictions imposed on him by the fascist regime. He fought fiercely to inculcate this high level of discipline among all the activists of the movement. Reflecting the confidence which our movement had in Moses Kotane, Chief Albert Luthuli, the late President General of the ANC, often consulted him on complex issues, calling for wise leadership and delicate decision. It was for similar reasons that, at our request, Comrade Moses left South Africa to join the external ANC leadership in Dar es Salaam in January 1963. Umkhonto we Sizwe was 1 year old at the time, and its members were leaving South Africa in large numbers for training abroad. In the emergence of Umkhonto we Sizwe, Moses Kotane saw the beginning of the final onslaught on the last stronghold of imperialism, Fascist Republic of South Africa. His devotion to the building of this nucleus of our People's Army was second only to his devotion to the struggle for national and social liberation in South Africa. Close quote. The musings of comrades in arms aside, permit me to reminisce about Kotane, the husband, father, grandfather. As a family, we cherish fond memories of him. The struggle for the liberation of our country may have, as in many countless cases, robbed us of his presence and proximity, and thus normal family life. Thankfully, we take heart from the knowledge that his career choice, if I may call it that, was for the collective good of our country. We thank his parents, devout, God-fearing Christians who instilled in him the values that informed his life. Le gone re leboga motse wa ga Matlhako go bo o re neetse mokaulumi one o ileng a inela go lwela boipuso jwa lefatshe leno. Matsapa a gagwe ke kgololesego ya Aforika Borwa. Our family, beginning with our matriarch, Rebecca Kotane, wife of Moses, are eternally grateful to President Jacob Zuma and the government of South Africa for undertaking this repatriation and burial project. We highly appreciate the President's rapid response in setting in motion the wheels of government once the request was made. Similarly, we would like to extend our thanks to the Minister of Arts and Culture, Mr. Natim Tetwa, and his department, including other government departments and agencies that facilitated this project, to the provincial government of the Northwest Province under the leadership of Premier Maguma Pelo, the Moses Kotane Municipality, the Tribal Authority of Tampurstad, re lebogile bagaetsho. Re itumedisa ke go tsweledisa segopolo sa Rre Kotane pele senatla sa porofense eno. It would be remiss of me not to acknowledge and pay gratitude to the former Soviet Union for not only the support it gave to the liberation movement, but for the care and comfort it gave to people like Rre Kotane and Uncle J.B. Marx when their health began to fail them. The burial in Moscow of Malume and Uncle J.B. speaks to their internationalism and the bonds of friendship that existed between the Soviet Union and our liberation movement. In the same vein, our thanks go to the Russian government and its embassy in Pretoria, including the city of Moscow and the authorities of Novede Vichy Cemetery for their excellent cooperation in facilitating the exhumation and repatriation process. Moses Kotane, peasant, worker, and proletarian, belonged in the bosom of the African National Congress, the South African Communist Party, and the trade union movement. The family thanks the Alliance for making him one of theirs and giving him space to operate in the long walk to South Africa's freedom. To all who have taken time to be with us at this funeral ceremony, we likewise extend our hearty thanks. Bagaetsho, ra leboga le kamoso.